Hey traders, what's up? It's Matt with Conservative Trades. Hope everybody is doing all right today. You can see we are ending the day up $204.76. Not much less than that after fees and commissions, actually. I probably only spent, I don't know, 30 some dollars, maybe we'll say maybe 40 at best in fees and commissions. So um, obviously, we are making up for a good chunk of our losses from yesterday, and I feel a lot better about the day today. And there's one trade here today that I really want to go over. That trade is going to be Boeing. I may go over the NVAX trade, but there's a couple reasons for this. First of all, Boeing was doing something today that AMD was doing yesterday. And there was an opportunity on AMD yesterday where I could have gotten out with a very minimal loss. And the same type of thing was happening on Boeing today. And today I went ahead and made sure that I got out so that I wouldn't take too much of a loss. I had already taken a little bit of a loss on Boeing. I was down much more than $4.74. As you can see here, that's pretty much where we ended on Boeing. But Boeing really potentially could have been a much better move. As you can see right here, I was shorting into all of this buy up here, anticipating this pullback at least to the 9 EMA. But you can see I got out here and then I got out here, and we're going to go over this. But the reason I took it here, the reason that I didn't let it play out like this is because I was correcting a mistake that I made yesterday on AMD. And one of the mistakes that I made yesterday on AMD, there was a point where I could have gotten out of AMD, which with a much lesser loss, but I was kind of holding and hoping, and I was trading more on the possibilities of what could happen rather than the probabilities. And there's a difference in that. And as a matter of fact, I came out with a video. And I know it's been a while since I've done an episode of The Trader's Mind. The Trader's Mind is circled around trader psychology. And for those of you who have been following the channel long enough, you've probably seen me release a few of those episodes. Trader psychology is huge, right? When you have a good grasp on trader psychology, that often makes all the difference between you being a successful trader and an unsuccessful day trader. Okay, and I had made a video per the request of actually one of our regulars. Shout out to my boy Notergen's Adventures. You'll notice him if you ever come into the live stream, but he had actually made a request that, and I believe it was Noter who made that request. I hope I'm right about that, but had requested that I create a video that would basically be titled Probabilities versus Possibilities, or trading according to possibilities versus trading with the probabilities in mind. And so as traders, we should not be trading off of hope and possibilities. I mean, look, anything's possible, right? But we need to know what is probable, what is more likely to happen. And we make our judgment calls on this, and we formulate our trade ideas and based upon technical indicators and based upon whether we're using the moving averages, whether we're using VWAP, looking at volume, looking at previous areas of support and resistance, whatever the case may be. When you are forming a trade idea, you are taking the information that you are given right there in the moment, according to the chart patterns and the price action, and you are trying to get an understanding of what is the most likely scenario of this stock. Okay, and where it's going and how it's going to play out. And so oftentimes we can get wrecked when we begin holding and hoping, thinking to ourselves, well, it's possible that this stock could, come all the way back down and go in the directions. But it's in those moments we have to say to ourselves, okay, but what is the chart showing me? Okay, and what is the greater likelihood here? Okay, and so yesterday on AMD, we had a buy up kind of like this. It was a slower buy up, and my average spots could have been better. I mean, look, I've already admitted, and I'll admit it again, my trading on AMD was not that great yesterday, but there was a moment where we got a significant enough pullback to where I could have gotten out with a small loss. But as it was coming back, everything in me, the charts, everything what the charts were showing me, even, you guys know I often watch the broader markets. I've got them up here on a different monitor. I've got the SPY, I've got the QQQs, the tech sector, the financial sector, and I'm often watching what the broader markets are doing. And and so I'm watching the technical indicators, I'm watching the stocks that I'm trading, I'm looking at what the broader markets are doing. And yesterday on AMD, yes, it was possible that AMD could have come all the way down here like Boeing ended up coming down here today, but it was more probable that it was going to continue going up. And I should have just gotten out. There was no reason to take that kind of a loss. I took a better than $400 loss on AMD yesterday. I don't quite remember the exact number. You can go back and check out the recap, but it was a lot. I took a big, heavy loss on that, and I should have just gotten out and reset the trade idea. Okay. And that's normally what I do. And that's actually what I did here on Boeing today. But see, now here's the thing. Looking at Boeing, I really thought, according to, again, what the broader markets were showing me, according to the technical indicators and the price action, and I was watching level 2, and everything in me said, okay, yes, it's possible that Boeing is going to come all the way back down here and we could get a really good move off of it. And that would have been a good move. That would have been a maybe even $300 move alone on that, just depending on how I chose to piece out of it, because I had built up a pretty good position here all the way up here. I think at one point I had maybe a 300 share position. So this could have been a very good move. But when Boeing was kind of topping out here, and here on the 2-minute chart, if you look at it, we were kind of, it had made kind of this bull flag consolidation here. That's why I chose to go ahead and get out and take a little bit of a loss here because, part of my pullback strategy, guys, we've talked about it many times, is I look for these long buy ups and I start getting in and piecing in, and then, and I piece in, and then I look for a flush down to the 9 EMA. Well, as we go into a little bit of consolidation, what happens is that 9 EMA starts coming up, and that's when my plan has to change. So that's why I came out some of my shares here. I took a little bit of a loss. I was underwater a little bit on Boeing. But then it started coming up, and that brought my average up higher, so I was comfortable with re-adding here and re-adding all the way up here. And then we started to get the drop. Now, why did I come out here? Well, I came out here because I just felt that this was probably just, again, what the broader markets were showing me and what was going on with even looking at level 2 and just the price action in general. Boeing was being stubborn. Boeing was being stubborn. Now, when it got to this point, I was thinking to myself this. I was thinking, yes, it's possible it's going to end up coming all the way back down here, at least to VWAP. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's possible. But again, with everything I was looking at the moment, I thought to myself, but you know what? This could be another AMD. This could end up turning around up here and skyrocketing even more. And we had other areas, previous areas of resistance that this could have gone up to. This could have gone all the way up to 185, right? Because we were already up to 182, and that was kind of the next stop. I mean, we would have had a little bit of resistance at 183s, but then, I think 185, it very well could have tested 185, and I've seen Boeing make those kinds of extended moves before, so I had to really quickly think about, okay, is this going to be worth it? Is this going to be worth it holding and hoping? And so in that given moment, I did what I knew to do. Now, obviously, hindsight is showing us that, yes, that possibility ended up playing out, and it ended up dumping. And as a matter of fact, the markets as a whole ended up coming down. But I just wasn't sure. And what I saw was a greater probability of Boeing spiking up, doing one more bull flag consolidation and spiking up again. And I didn't even know if I would have the buying power to hold on to it. So I went ahead and unloaded here, and I just thought to myself, you know what? If we get one more thrust up, I'll build one last position, and that should do it. But we never got the move. And as a matter of fact, it ended up coming all the way down here. Now, this is where it messes with you. Because yesterday on AMD, I didn't take it when it came back here, and AMD continued to go against me, and I had to take a loss, right? Today, I took it, and, the silver lining here is it brought me back to basically break even on Boeing, okay? Because like I said, I had taken a loss, but this brought me basically back to break even, okay? So I was fine with that. And I was giving myself a chance to reset my position just in case we went on one more bull flag tear, okay? But today, it just so happened to be that it went the way that it possibly could have gone, right? So, but this is where it messes you up, because when you come in trading the next day, you're going to be thinking to yourself, well, Boeing crashed. When I was shorting Boeing and it was coming to this pullback, it crashed. So I need to give this a chance to work out. No, that's not the case. That's not the truth. The truth is you always need to be looking at the probabilities. You do not need to be paying attention to the possibilities. We do not trade off of possibilities. We take all the information we're given, and we have to make these decisions fast, guys. This is what makes really good traders. We have to make these decisions fast. I can't see all this and carry this into my trading day tomorrow, because all this that happened here today very well may not be what happens tomorrow. We may get another AMD where it comes back and ends up pushing up to new levels. So I constantly have to trade based on the probabilities, the more likely situation, okay? And if I'm determining that the more likely situation is that this is going to continue moving against me, then I need to stop thinking about all this that could happen, and I need to go ahead and take it. Now we can see, obviously, that all this did happen, and yeah, I missed out on making, a few $100 on that move. But at the same time, think about if this had continued to skyrocket. I could have lost a lot of money on Boeing today, just like I did on AMD yesterday. Okay, and so every good trader is going to think about what they could potentially lose. Okay, every good trader is going to think about that. You can't just be here, sitting in trades, having dollar signs in your eyes, thinking, man, if this moves down here, man, I could make all this money. Yes, you obviously want to be able to calculate that to some degree. You do want to think about that. You want to think about what you could possibly be making, but the good traders will always be thinking very much to themselves, if this doesn't work out, and if this shows me what the greater likelihood is, what of what could happen here, if this ends up happening, how much could I lose, and is it worth it? And if the answer is no, then you need to get out. You need to get out. We've got to be comfortable in our trades, and this is what I should have done on AMD yesterday. Okay. And so Boeing was a break-even trade. Now I will say this: there is one thing that I could have done here to see if this, just to give this trade a little bit of time to play out the quote-unquote possible scenario, which ended up being the actual scenario. What I could have done is I could have done what I did up here. I could have just unloaded half of my shares. I would have taken a little bit more of a loss on these shares down here, right? But I could have let those other shares ride and see if we, just kind of set a stop up here to, to break even or something. And I could have seen if this would work out. And then, then I would have gotten a good, $200 move off of that, maybe $300 move. So I would have well recovered my losses, and I probably would have ended, in profit, maybe $100 or something, maybe $150 on Boeing. But guys, hindsight is 20/20. It really is. And when you get in on stocks and you're faithful to the parameters, the risk parameters that you've set, and then if it ends up working out to where, you could have made tons of money, look, you've got to forget about it. You've got to forget about it. You cannot take that into your trading day the next day. Okay? Because once again, whatever the trade idea is, we have to form that trade idea. We have to know what the probabilities are, trade off of those probabilities. And when it seems like that those probabilities are starting to be less and less in our favor, we need to stick to the plan. We need to get out if we need to get out. We need to maybe come out some of our shares if we need to come out some of our shares. However we handle our risk, that's what we need to be doing. And we need to stick to the plan. We don't need to be holding and hoping or wondering about the possibilities. Yes, the possibilities will sometimes play out, and yes, you will miss out on the move. Okay? But here's the thing. If Boeing had not gone into this consolidation, or say when it was up here and it started to come down, if the markets as a whole were starting to plummet, and if level 2 was looking good, if I saw some big orders down here and that sort of thing, yes, I would have held on to it. I would have had every reason to hold on to it, but I just didn't see it at that moment. I just didn't see it, and I had to get out. So anyway, I'm very proud of that move, believe it or not, and but we did get some really good moves on the pullback strategy today. You can see here ROKU. ROKU got a nice overextension. Look at this. I mean, just a nice overextension on the 2-minute. And I went ahead and just started to get in. And I was looking up and over. And I saw that we were kind of at some points of resistance, but I was planning on just continuing to add all the way up. And I did. And so I added here, I added here, I added here, I added here, I added here. So I had brought my average up just enough to get out on some good profit here when it did return back to the 9 EMA. EMA. But then it started shooting up again, but it wasn't on quite a strong volume, right? So I got in here and I got in here, and beautiful move all the way back down to the 9 EMA, piecing out all the way back down here, and then I got out my last piece here. And then ROKU popped up once again. It formed a huge green candle here, became overextended, and again, I was looking up and over, and look, I called the top on that. I was looking right over here. I was like, man, it could bounce off of this. I could get a nice little move here. And I was planning on continuing to add all the way up here to 160, right? But it ended up just kind of coming back down, and I got out real quick. I probably should have let that one play out a little bit more, but I'd already made money on ROKU, and you know, I just wanted to get out. So let's see, BYND, I think, might have been, was that the pullback strategy? Yep, same thing on BYND. Look, came all the way up here, was overextended off the off the 9 EMA on the 2-minute. I got out or got in and got a quick scalp here. Yep, hindsight, I could have held on to it a lot longer, but again, for me, I was just trying to pack on profits. Yesterday was a big losing day for me, guys. I mean, I lost like 500 bucks yesterday. So for me today, I'm just coming in here trying to pack on profits and try to knock out a couple $100. And I did. That goal's been achieved. And, you know, so I did a little bit of a breakdown trade here on AMD. I noticed it was weak, as you can see over here. So let me see if I can get over here. You can see here on AMD, we had suffered a good bit of a sell-off. It was pulling back, so this was kind of a pullback trade, but I noticed it was getting weak here, and I just thought to myself, you know what? I think this is going to pull with the market, and it did, and it pulled back down, and just got out with a quick scalping move right there. So if you come over here, you can see that I took another move right here. I averaged in here, came down here, and just got out. I was just a little bit nervous and just thought I needed to take it here at the 9 EMA. And so just anyway, small profits on AMD today, $31. NVAX was the other move. And, you know, this one I missed. I wish I had caught this move. I was in the middle of some other work when all of this was happening, and I couldn't get to it. But I did actually set alerts for this, and this would have been another beautiful move. I probably could have ended the day up over $100 on NVAX, and maybe even ended the day up over 250 off of that move. But this is the move that I was able to capitalize on. And you can see, you know, we got a nice buy up here. I started piecing in here, got out here. So nice little scalping trade on NVAX. I'll tell you what, NVAX and mRNA, they are just the gifts that keep on giving. They are so faithful to pullbacks. They're very forgiving when it comes to this pullback strategy. So, but you do have to be careful because they can get bought up very significantly. You do not want to get in too soon on those stocks. I typically let them get like a massive, massive buy up before even getting in on them. So anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hit the like button and the bell notification. We do trade live here on the channel Monday through Friday beginning around 9 a.m. Come join us. And to all my regulars, look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. Take care.